All right, this is pinhole. Pinhole has thousands of small little perforations. You don't have to use a sock with this pipe. That's why so many people love this pipe. Now, this pipe went away for a long time. There was no pinhole available. They stopped making it. I did videos on that last year explaining how we were able to do some special runs. Once again, we have pinhole in our yard. I wanted to do an intro to this video. Every time people see this system, they comment about the stone under the pipe. When you run only one pipe wide, your trench is narrow, you're going to get sediment at the bottom of that trench no matter what. When it's two pipes wide, it spreads over a greater area, the same amount of sediment. The sediment comes off the wall. The wall doesn't change. You can go 2, 3, 4 pipes wide, and the wall doesn't change, and the sediment is the same. When you have a wider bottom to your trench, the sediment spreads over a larger area, and it doesn't fill the bottom of the pipe. This single wide pipe trench that we show in this video, we do double stack them, but we wanted to put stone under them so that the sediment would settle in the stone. It won't be a problem. It won't end up in the pipe in this narrow trench. This is a great DIY. You can use a trencher. You can go rent a trencher and put the system in. This is for surface water, and it's for tightening up the yards. It's a French drain, yard drain combination. Now, when we filmed this, we only had knife cut, and we didn't have pinhole. I really love pinhole. I prefer pinhole if you can get your hands on it. But that pipe wasn't made for many years. We did do a special run of that pipe, and I do recommend pinhole if you're given the option. Pinhole or knife cut, I would always go with the pinhole. It's a better pipe. All right, everybody, enjoy the video. We'll show you every step to building this system. It moves so much water, and it's draining several acres of property. This is a video that has been years in the making. 3 years to be exact. I had a bunch of DIYers in my comments saying, hey, you guys have all this equipment. We don't know how to run an excavator, a mini skid loader. We don't have a dump truck. This ain't going to work for us. So unfortunately, they were following the blueprint of an easy DIY on some other channels, and they would fail after 2 years. I vowed at that time, 3 years ago, that I was going to make all the components for an easy DIY, something that a homeowner can do, that you didn't need an excavator, you didn't need a mini skid loader. I'm going to show you how to build a yard drain, French drain combination. We took out all the failure modes. This is going to last a lifetime. Back at the office house, this is a property that I own, so when I show you this is how we're doing this job here. I'm putting in a really inexpensive system. It's an easy DIY. You can put this system in with a trencher. This is a 48-inch trencher. So this is a trencher that you can rent. Anybody can run it. Skill level 2. Do it when it's dry. Don't do it when it's wet. Do it when it's dry. You can see how this dirt's all powdered. It's going to shovel super easy. If it's wet, it's going to be muddy and it's just going to make a mess. But a trencher makes the dirt light and fluffy. Clean the bottom of your trench out with a trench shovel. This is 5 inches wide. It fits in a trench made by a trencher. That's a 6-inch trencher. We probably got a true 7 inches here. So you just literally clean it out. Don't even worry about slope. This is easy DIY. You're going to mess around and get the bottom nice and level with pea stone. We'll show you that. And it's probably the least expensive because there's less dirt haul out and there's less stone haul in. This is a project for my own property, and this is going to be more than enough. This area stays wet. This tree is dead. This tree is dead. This tree, this tree. These trees all have died because of the water that lays in here and how wet this is. You're not going to hire in a company to come in and put in, $15,000 worth of drainage. It's just not in the budget. This is easy. But armed with a shovel only and a rental trencher, you can put in this system. For perfect trenches that are 7 inches wide, you can carve out a little area where you need to for a catch basin sump like we did right here. Such an easy DIY. I'm so happy to finally have all the components for an easy DIY, a truly easy DIY. The light fluffy dirt can either be repurposed or hauled away. Easy DIY, just to show you. So that fits in a trench made by a trencher. This catch basin is a part of our trencher series. When we made our catch basins, both our single line and our double line, we only made it to where they were 5 inches wide and they fit in a trench made by a trencher. Super easy DIY, less dirt to haul out or move or relocate on the property, less stone to bring in. And it doesn't take a whole lot of skill to run this trencher. Once you have trenched in all your lines and you repurposed that light, easy to handle dirt that is a byproduct of using a trencher, you just go ahead and line your trench with a nonwoven geotextile filter fabric. Use a rubber mallet when you're pounding in those fabric pins. They go in really easy. A trencher does make a perfect trench. Now this next step for this easy DIY is to use pea stone to level out the bottom of your trench. Not only is it going to make it easy for you to level out the bottom of your trench, but because this is a very narrow trench and it's not a wide trench, the sediment that ends up in the bottom of a French drain, it's not going to have the area of a wide trench to spread in. So it will accumulate and end up in the bottom of the pipe in a very narrow trench. So you want to have that stone underneath your pipe. That way the sediment will accumulate in the voids of the stone under the pipe and not inside your pipe. A couple inches of pea stone is all you need. 2 or 3 inches of pea stone will do the job. Again, you don't have the area to displace sediment. It's a narrow trench. So you want to have something to catch all that sediment so it doesn't lay in your pipe. Remember, everywhere there's going to be a catch basin, you have to dig out a little sump area before you put your fabric in. Perfect trench. Absolutely perfect. Easy DIY. Everywhere you collect water in your yard, everywhere you have a puddle, you want to put a catch basin. The two most popular trenchers are either a 36-inch or a 48-inch. Basically, they both trench 7 inches wide, but it's how long the bar is. And depending on how deep you're going to end up, whether you need the 48-inch or the 36. If you have a catch basin right at the very beginning of your line, it'll have 2 end caps on it to start it off. If it's in the middle of the line, it'll have female couplers on both sides. Once you have all your inline catch basins in place and you have leveled out the bottom of your trench, you can start putting in the pipe. It's already time to put in the first pipe, the lower level pipe. The reason why we built a system that has a pipe stacked on top of a pipe is because all those trenched in systems that only have one pipe, the yard is still squishy and soft and spongy and muddy, and people complain about it all the time. Well, one pipe, I mean, look how shallow the system is. You go a little bit deeper, you tighten up the yard, you really dry out the subsurface. So that's why it's so important to have a system where you have 2 pipes. We make really big French drains with an excavator, and we typically run quad packs. You guys see that all the time. But here, for an easy DIY, you just trench a line. This is set up to where you still have the depth that we run professionally, but you don't have to remove as much dirt, and you're not going to have to add in as much stone, and the results are there. This system is ideal if you're in the tropical storm region. So yes, Louisiana, Florida, I know the Carolinas, you guys catch all those tropical storm systems, you guys get beat up pretty bad. Alabama, I mean, there's a handful of states that just catch a lot of tropical storms. When you're running 2 4-inch pipes, you can move all that water. You can evacuate that water quickly. The pipe we're using is as unique as the system. We're using knife cut or fine cut. We're not using a perforated pipe or a solid pipe. We're going to put a sock over knife cut. What knife cut is, it's a solid pipe that had little slits cut in it with a razor blade. If any sediment happens to wash through the knife cuts, I don't want it plugging the voids of the stone, so I want a sock on the knife cut pipe. Now that the lower level piping is complete, we want to start backfilling. You want to put pea stone on both sides of the pipe, and you want to fill it up till you get to the top of the pipe. You want to level it off before you put in the second level. Before you start plumbing that second pipe, make sure you've completely backfilled your entire system to the top of the first pipe. If running up to the landscape supply yard and just grabbing bagged pea stone is easier, because that really truly is DIY, you can use just bagged stone. We were actually shocked how little stone you actually need for a system like this. And it's quite amazing how good they work. Now remember, most guys that build them like this, they put the dirt back in. Can you believe that? They put a little bit of stone in, and then they cover it back up with dirt. I never understood that. It's no wonder their systems do not work. So for an easy DIY, you can use bagged stone. There is a cost savings if you have the landscape supply yard deliver you bulk stone versus bagged stone. These hook up really easy. We love the female couplers for this. We use our solid covers so we don't fill the catch basin up with any stone. We got risers to get us to grade. Look at that. There's 6 risers right there to get us to grade. We're in all these potholes. Put a catch basin in every pothole where there's water that normally stands in puddles. Right now we're putting these slip fit, easy to install risers on to get to grade, and we're using a solid cover. Buy yourself a few of these solid covers just so when you're dumping stone in, you're not filling your catch basin up with stone. It can be kind of aggravating, frustrating. So that's why we have the solid covers for right now. Used to be the worst part of the job, was trying to get everything to piece together. Now that we have all the right components, everything snaps together super easy. No screws. I hate screws. They just get lost in the grass. Trust me, I spent a lifetime dealing with it. Remember, before you put that second pipe in, get your pea stone in. Get your pea stone all around that pipe. I love having a stone soil filter zone. Like when sediment tries to go through the fabric, it's really nice having that stone filter zone. Here you see the crew handling a 250-foot coil. We had 1,000 feet of pipe going in on this job, so we had 4 250-foot contractor rolls. As a DIYer, I highly recommend you do not do this. The 100-foot rolls of piping are far easier to handle. You can see the guys right now are installing the sock on this knife cut pipe. Guys have this full of stone to the top of the first pipe. Now they're connecting the second pipe. It's quick, easy, fast. It's a perforated system, so we don't have to tile tape. If you're really OCD and you want to tile tape the sock on the end, you can. time is money and tile tape is money, and there's no need for it. We're trying to let the water in. Beautiful. Looks real nice. Hooks up really quick and easy to those female couplers. Everything goes together like this. This was what the contractors came up with. So when it comes to the installation process, it's quick, easy. Right here, we're just going to use a T. This is low volume. We don't have to worry about the fact that the water kind of slows down at a T. This is not that type of drain system. We put Y's where we have to put Y's, as you guys know and as you have seen. So the guys are patiently waiting for each other to cut the pipe because it connects that fast. Literally, all the parts were meant to go together. If we have a part that doesn't fit our kit, we'll get rid of it really quick. It won't last around here. You can hear how the detents, those barbs, grab a hold of that pipe. Just cut the sock in the pipe. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be fancy. And you're not getting that apart. When that goes together, that is not coming apart. So now that we have the second pipe in, we'll be able to add more stone. Quick, easy, no struggle. The easiest part of the job is putting it together now. Never used to be like that. You can see right here we got an end plug so the stone don't fill the pipe. You can tie the sock around the end or you can do that, doesn't matter. Everybody's got their own preference, but the system is going to work the same. Those little details right there, that's just installer's preference.
The
part that takes the longest is literally cutting the pipe, if you can believe that. That's how fast it snaps together. The guys, they're just waiting on each other so that the next fitting, we can cut the pipe, snap it in. Beautiful teamwork. Right now, there's 4 guys working this install line. These are cross tees for the intersections. We have 2 of them they're stacked. They're stacked on top of one another. This is our second pipe. So the guys, they start out shallow over here, and then this gets deeper as you get down to the main. If you want to know how deep the main is, we're 24 inches at the end of this main. We're going to pick up some natural slope here soon, which is good. So we're going to start getting shallower, believe it or not. That's what that looks like when you start getting natural slope. So we've now put 600 feet of sock on. It's gone quick, it's gone easy. And look how easy that hooked up. That's it, done, and it will not come apart. So this is what it looks like when you got a pipe stacked on top of a pipe. We're going to move a lot of water. We're going to dry out a lot of ground. Since our office farmhouse, it's now known as, and always will be called, the office farmhouse, is right here on our campus. We just went and got some bulk rock to finish this up. So we're cheating a little. We DIY'd it for you guys. We showed you what that looks like. So 6A natural stone is 1 inch on down to pea stone. So it is a smaller stone. We do like it. We do use it a lot. Again, we got this catch basin covered with a solid cover. No stone can get in it. Always have somebody holding your pipe down when you're filling it in. We made a really cool DIY video for you. But now it's time for us to, like, this job's not paying too well. So we need to knock it out and get out of here. There's another catch basin with a solid cover on it. No big deal. This turned out really nice. This drain is going to last forever. I like to get stone on both sides of the pipe, you know. Beautiful. Always have somebody holding that pipe down and try to get stone on both sides of the pipe. That's a beautiful install right there. Happy customer. See, I like that. I like when you get a little spit of stone on both sides of the pipe. I like that. If you're not using bag stone and you're using a machine, you really need to have somebody holding that pipe for you. Now we're just going to fold the fabric over so that we can put some topsoil on top of it. We're going to grow a really nice turf grass on this yard drain French drain combination. You can either put sand or stone on the top of your fabric. If you have some stone left over, like we did, just go ahead and put it on top of your fabric. It's going to work better. I don't have sprinklers, so I'm going to end up putting a lot of topsoil back on top of this. We kept the stone a little low, and we knew that we were going to do this from the very beginning. If you have sprinklers, you don't need as much dirt on top of your system. It will draw in surface water a lot better if you have less dirt on top. But we have inlet basins in all the low points, so I'm not worried about it. We have a 7-foot deep dry well. We got a foot of stone at the bottom. We got a 6-foot dry well that's perforated. A lot of holes are drilled in it. The water is going to come down to this dry well. It's going to run out the perforations as it fills, and it's just going to run up out of the big stone that's around it. We're not going to have any issues. It just pours right into this ditch. This is the ditch bottom. This is a swaled bottom right alongside the driveway. This water runs to a detention area. If we're having a torrential rain for an extended period of time and this dry well becomes overwhelmed, we did vent it. We have our 4-inch grate. That's our full throttle. That's why there's so much outlet. Most grates have more plastic than actually inlet or outlet. Look at that. And it's slightly domed, so leaves can't lay flat and create a suction issue. Now, yes, this dry well can actually take in water too. You know, you can see that we have it concave. We want all the water to run to this one point. We're not worried about overflow because we have this ditch bottom. Guys did a beautiful job. So the discharge line is also helping pick up water in all these low areas. We have an open French drain through the field. It meanders because we had so many low areas. This is just a natural contour of the ground. We have knife cut. We have 2 knife cut pipes in this trench here. This one's open French drain. It's open French drain for about 200 feet. Then we have 300 feet of covered French drain. And then we have the inlet basins on it too. So it's a dual system. This really came out nice. Nothing takes in water faster than an open French drain. Remember that. The guys are just cleaning up right now. They put the sod back over top of the system. They're grabbing up the turf mats. They'll take a leaf blower and they'll blow all the dirt that fell off the sod, just all the dirt that's fallen off these mats. They'll blow that around with a leaf blower, no problems. Once the construction's done and we don't have to worry about topsoil and stone falling in the basins, we're going to use our French Drain Man 6-inch full throttle. Look at that. You will not find another 6-inch grate with that much inlet and or outlet, depending on how you're using it. That is just ridiculous. Of course, a turf restrictor plate. We don't want the grass to grow over it. All right, the guys did a beautiful job cleaning up. It was a big job. We had 500 feet of trench. We have 7 inlet basins, and they're all in the potholes. Remember, that's key. You're not measuring just catch basins every so many feet. That's not what you want to do. That doesn't work. You have to put your catch basins wherever you have water collecting. Water always finds the low points. Put your catch basin in those low points and you're going to catch all the water. That's exactly what we did. The crew did a wonderful job. They found 7 known low spots that hold water. They went ahead and they put a turf restrictor with a 6-inch grate. We're using the full throttle 6-inch French drayman grates. Look at that, all that inlet. You can see right into that catch basin with the grate on. I love black. Black will heat up when the sun's out in the winter. It can be literally single digits outside. The sun's radiant energy will heat that black object up and it'll thaw that catch basin. So if you're in the north, it's a great idea to go with black pop-ups, black catch basin top. All right, we just had like a red cell come through. I wanted to show you what this looks like. So here's our dry well. And you know how we have those ports up top? Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Now, it's not raining. I'm standing here because we just had a... Look at this. All this water came out of this system that we put in. Now, we have the full video on this system. Look at that dry well. It was even more, and I had to run and go get my camera equipment. The water was the mushroom effect coming up out of those 4-inch full throttle grates. These are French Drainman's full throttle 4-inch grates. We got 2 of them at the top of our dry well. That way, if all the holes that we drilled in it are not enough and it becomes overwhelmed, it overflows. You can see it's working as it was designed. The water's dropping so fast, it's mind-blowing. So we ran our system through every area that would hold and pond water. It starts way up there behind the office house. It was a big project that we took on because I got tired of the water hanging around. So even though this job didn't pay, because this is one of my properties, you know, we went ahead and put in a system. I wanted to show you guys the results. So we had 2 inches of rain that came so fast. I mean, it was coming down so hard, you couldn't drive. You had to pull to the shoulder of the road. So you get 2 inches, flash flood. Does the system work? Does the system keep up? This is a gravity-powered system. This is gravity. Look at this. This looks more like a landscape water feature, doesn't it? I mean, you would swear there's pumps. You'd think to yourself, there's got to be pumps moving this kind of water. I mean, I can't even begin to really guess how much water we're moving. I mean, okay, if I take the slope that we're on and what 2 corrugated pipes can move, I can do the math, and I could give you guys a good guesstimation that'd get us in the ballpark. Look at this. Look at this. It's starting to settle down now. Francisco and Valente, they dug out a really nice swale, put in a culvert, 100 feet of culvert pipe over there. Man, oh man, we are moving water. We are moving some serious water. And like I said, they're believe it or not, it was actually moving more water earlier. But right now it's trying to take it in. Now this is an open French drain. I'm going to show you something. Look at this. See what this open French drain's doing? You see all that water dancing? You see all that water moving? That water's flowing right through the stone, right into the French drain. Nothing moves water faster than an open French drain. That is just sick. The water's going in that dry well. Obviously, this dry well can't handle this kind of rain. It can handle a 2-inch rain that comes in 12 hours. It's not gonna, you know, a 2-inch rain that's just a flash flood. Well, that's just flood water. Look at that. You guys always want to see our systems working. I know it doesn't get any better than that. Gravity powered system, everybody. Gravity powered system. I have the full install video for this, showing everything we did. Man, oh man. That's 2 corrugated pipes going to a 7-foot deep dry well. And those 2 corrugated pipes are running wide open, man. They're running wide open. We're moving so much water. That's just crazy. You don't get to see this too often because it's all about timing. You got to be in the right place at the right time with your camera equipment. This was a flash flood. I was so tired of the water ponding behind our office farmhouse. Man, are we moving the water. That is just crazy, man. Just nuts. So this is, you know, going to run for a while, obviously. It's got to catch up. That flash flood, it doesn't give water a chance for the ground to really take it in. Man, I love when a plan comes together. That is a beautiful system right there. Those 4-inch grates, they're not overwhelmed. They're not restricting the system in any way. Those 4-inch grates, that's why we call them a full throttle. We got 2 grates under that title, that category, that description. And yeah, that trademark. We got a full throttle 4-inch and a full throttle 6-inch. There's basically nothing there for grate. And it definitely flows 4 times the water of any other 4-inch grate and or 6-inch grate. Man, that's a beautiful sight right there. So we always build our dry wells and we set them up so that when they're maxed out, they're where they need to be for overflow. I mean, when you're laying out your design system, there's so much thought that really needs to go into play. I know people just dig a hole and put a dry well anywhere, but that's not really what you want to do. Man, that's beautiful stuff right there, man. Yeah, the guys did a great job. They did a really, really good job. They must have got it right. It's working pretty good. Yeah, that 2 inches of rain came fast, came quick. We don't typically get monsoons here in Michigan, but that would have fell in the category of a monsoon, for sure. Gravity. That's a gravity system. That's why you want slope on your system. Everybody says, oh, you don't need slope. Well, I agree. You don't need it. But the luxury to it is you're going to move water faster. You're going to evacuate the water from the premises much quicker if you build your system with slope. If you don't have the slope, you can put a pump system in. When you put a pump system in, you could put as much slope on it as you want. 1%, 1.5%, 2%, whatever your heart desires, because you're putting in a pump system. Now, of course, the more slope you put on it, the deeper you're going to be at the pump, so the deeper your sump pit will have to be. So there's a yielding threshold to everything. Man, that's a beautiful sight. That's a beautiful sight right there. This is a Michigan drain. Yard drain, French drain combination. Going to a dry well. Set up so that its overflow goes in a swale that heads down to a detention pond. You guys did a beautiful job. Everything is working as designed. What is it about running water? It's like staring into a campfire. You can just listen to it and watch it forever. So I'm always talking about pounds per square inch and downspout lines and discharge lines, building systems so that they have pounds per square inch. Well, you can see by the water coming up out of this dry well, there's like a mushroom of water, that there's definitely some pounds per square inch here, meaning this line is going to be clean. You don't want to oversize your line. I have so many people in the comments saying, I don't know if I should go up to a 6-inch system. The answer is 95% of the time, no. You don't want to go to a 6-inch system because it's going to mellow this flow down. The larger the area, the more mellow the water becomes because it spreads across the greater area, losing its energy, its pounds per square inch. In most cases, the 6-inch line will build up with sediment because it doesn't flow with enough pounds per square inch to push the debris through the system. So I like to even undersize my systems. If I'm sitting on the fence, I'm always going to go, all right, we're just going to max it out because the lines are going to be clean. They're never going to clog. And you can see this system was designed on 2 4-inch pipes. I'm really happy with my decision. It's doing just fine. We're moving a sick amount of water. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, this is kind of like a small riverbed. It is just wild. That's 2 4-inch pipes. That's what you see here. 2 4-inch pipes sending all this water. This goes, for probably 250 feet and gets deposited in a detention area, detention pond. I can leave the link to the full install video if you want to see the installation. If you're new subscriber, you didn't catch that last year, this was a system we put in last year. Yeah, 250 feet of collection system. Now the entire discharge line was on knife cut. It was 2 4-inch knife cuts, and it's designed to take in water as well as leach water. Here's one of the tricks to the trades. We have a 200-foot distance between our collection system and our dry well. We're running 2 discharge lines. It's a big collection system. We're going to have our discharge line grabbing up surface water the whole distance that it's discharging the water. We ran knife cut instead of solid pipe so that we can do that. So let's break down this technique. When we have a 2-inch rainfall and we've been in a drought, we have 200 feet of leach line. Probably not even a drop of water is going to make it to this dry well. Now, when we have a lot of rain, it's our rainy season, spring, fall, we're getting quite a few rains throughout the week. Maybe you're on your third 2-inch rainfall of the week. There's going to be puddles in this field that we're trying to dry up. That leach line is going to work in reverse for you. It's going to take in the surface water. So if it was a drought, it would charge the subsurface soil. If everything was as dry as can be, you wouldn't see no water coming out of here. Because the leach line, you got 250 feet of system. That's basically 250 feet of dry well. Once the soil can't take in any more water, it'll finally make it to this monster 7-foot deep dry well. Now this was 30 inches round and 7 feet deep. That's a big dry well. But we've had so much rain as of lately, the soil was already fully charged, so the soil wasn't going to take any in. So the leach line acted as a discharge line. I mean, basically, it's sending all the water. This is going to run for a little bit. This is probably going to run for another hour like this. Moving some water. So yeah, we've built a lot of systems over the years, and we know what they do. We don't necessarily need to go back to them to see that they do their job anymore, because we know our results are 100%. We've never had a dissatisfied customer, ever. There has never been a drain job that we couldn't solve. Look at that. All right, everybody. I'll leave the link to the install of this video. I'll leave a link to the entire system, the installation process, so that you can see what makes this thing go. If you like the content that I'm putting on YouTube, this educational content about drainage for free, give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until that next video. If you found any of this information helpful, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about this installation, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until that next video.